Welcome to Hatman Strikes Back Daily Boxing News. So, Duke Mckenzie has been on a fantastic run as far as predicting heavyweight fights. He accurately predicted that Alexander Usyk would walk down, not just that Usyk would beat Fury the first time, that he'd walk him down. He accurately predicted that and was bang on the money, and he was adamant from day one, despite all the pushback from people like Spencer Oliver and other people at TalkSport. No, Duke Mckenzie was absolutely adamant that Alexander Usyk was going to beat Fury the first time, and he was bang on the money. He was also adamant that Daniel Dubois was going to smash AJ to pieces. Again, he said it on TalkSport several weeks or even months before the fight, totally against what the majority of people thought. But Mckenzie was very, very confident in his prediction, and he was right on that too. And of course, for this Usyk-Fury rematch, he's saying that not only is Usyk going to win again, but it will be even more decisive than it was the first time. Perhaps even a stoppage of Tyson Fury. Now, what I wasn't aware of is how far back these incredible predictions of Duke Mckenzie actually go. Now, I'm an old man. I'm in my mid-40s. I was watching boxing in the 1980s, 1990s, and so on. And I remember very well the night that Evander Holyfield beat Mike Tyson, November 9th, 1996. I watched that fight on Sky Sports Live. It was a very good card, by the way, a heavyweight card. But I clearly missed the part where Duke Mckenzie, who was doing punditry for that Sky Sports broadcast, gave his prediction. And folks, it was an incredible prediction. Let me set the scene here. Mike Tyson had come out of prison, and he was seen by the boxing media, the boxing establishment, and the public at large as the savior. Because when Mike Tyson was inside, all the media and the establishment and the public would do was bash the heavyweight division and claim that none of the fighters who were around in Tyson's absence, like Lennox Lewis, Holyfield, Bowe, etc., could hold a torch to Mike Tyson. They were all pretenders to the throne, pale imitations. And the narrative was that when Mike Tyson, if he comes out of prison and decides to box on, he's going to clean house. He's going to destroy all these guys. He's going to restore order to the heavyweight division. That's not only what people expected, it's what they wanted. And so Tyson comes out in 95. He wipes out Peter McNeely in a round. He beats Buster Mathis Jr. He then wipes out Frank Bruno for the WBC heavyweight title in a rematch. Beats him easier than he did the first time. And the whole boxing world is saying, wow, Tyson's back. Exactly as we thought the script would go. And I'm not saying any of those fights were staged, by the way, folks. When I say script, I mean metaphorically, symbolically, right? Tyson comes out of jail, starts wiping competition out, recaptures the heavyweight title in short order, unifies with Bruce Seldon, who he demolishes in a round. He had the whole world convinced that he was not only back, but was actually better than ever. I remember Barry McGuigan saying that after Mike Tyson beat Frank Bruno the second time. I remember all these celebrities, Hulk Hogan and all these people saying, oh, Tyson's better than ever. There were only a tiny minority of dissenting voices, one of them being Teddy Atlas, Mike Tyson's amateur coach. But the vast majority of people were saying he's better than ever. And so when the Holyfield fight was made, Holyfield was seen as washed up. He had those 3 brutal fights with Riddick Bowe, the last one resulting in Holyfield being badly knocked out. For the first time in his career, he'd never been stopped before, but he was badly knocked out in the 3rd Bowe fight. He faded dramatically. And going into the Tyson fight, he was coming off an unimpressive victory over Bobby Ches, who was a blown-up light heavyweight. The odds were massively stacked in Tyson's favor in terms of public perception, bookies odds, everything. Myself, I thought Tyson would wipe Holyfield out in a couple rounds. I thought it would be like the Michael Spinks fight. Don King, Tyson's promoter, thought that's what it was going to be. He said as much to Manny Stewart. In fact, Manny Stewart claims that he'd had a phone call with Don King when he found out that King had matched Mike Tyson with Evander Holyfield. It was a voluntary defense for Mike Tyson. Holyfield didn't have a belt at the time. And Manny Stewart claimed that he'd warned King that he'd made a mistake. I'm paraphrasing, but I'm sure you'll find the interview online. He claims he'd warned King that he'd made a mistake and that when he had trained Holyfield for the Bowe rematch, all Holyfield spoke about, the entire camp, wasn't Riddick Bowe, it was Mike Tyson. At a time when Mike Tyson was still in prison, he explained to Don King that Holyfield was absolutely obsessed with Mike Tyson. He's been preparing for Mike Tyson for years. You don't know what you're doing, Don. You've made a terrible miscalculation here. Again, Manny Stewart only said this after the fact. He didn't reveal this conversation publicly before the fight. There was only maybe one journalist that I remember picking Holyfield. Anyway, long story short, turns out that Duke Mckenzie, and you'll see the prediction in this video right here that you can see on screen. Duke Mckenzie picked Evander Holyfield to beat Mike Tyson. That is an incredible prediction. Trust me, that's a far more impressive prediction than picking Usyk over Fury first time or picking Dubois over Joshua. Far more impressive because Mike Tyson was a way bigger favorite than either Tyson Fury was over Usyk for the first fight or Joshua was over Dubois. Way bigger, not even in the same league in terms of odds. Seriously, people, what a prediction that he picked Holyfield over Mike Tyson, because most of us just couldn't see it. Yes, Holyfield had lots of experience and he'd been fighting in tough fights while Mike Tyson was locked up, but he'd been getting hurt. He'd been accumulating damage. He'd even been stopped. In fact, he had his license taken off him at one point over a heart condition. He looked poor against Michael Moorer, lost that fight on points. So there was nothing to indicate that Holyfield was in the type of form that would allow him to beat Mike Tyson on November 9th, 1996. But clearly, most of us were missing something. We had failed to pick up on certain details or failed to consider certain factors that Duke Mckenzie had picked up on and had considered, because he was once again, all the way back then in the mid-90s, very confident in his prediction that Holyfield was going to beat Mike Tyson. If there's one guy in boxing whose predictions I pay very close attention to now, is Duke Mckenzie. Not that he's going to have a 100% prediction record. Nobody does, right? If you did, you become a multi-billionaire very quickly just by gambling on fights, right? Betting on fights. Nevertheless, his prediction record is far better than most, and he's certainly not afraid to predict against the consensus. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Make sure you check out this incredible prediction by Duke Mckenzie back on November 9th, 96 for the first Mike Tyson-Evander Holyfield fight. And let me know what you think about Mckenzie's prediction for this Alexander Usyk-Tyson Fury rematch. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. Are you surrounded by mindless bots in human form who adhere to the norm and blindly conform? Who swallow all the mainstream BS and actually ridicule you for questioning things? Do you wish you had more free-thinking individuals in your life to network and converse with? Well, look no further. We're right here. Come and join the Brotherhood of Reason on Patreon. You'll gain access to my weekly topical content where we take deep dives on an endless variety of subjects, as well as my vast back catalogue of podcasts, videos, interviews, movie decodings, and my Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You'll also get to talk and network with myself and hundreds of other people in our members chat. You can enjoy all this via the Patreon app or on desktop and download all my podcasts in high-quality MP3. There's no contract, no commitment. You can cancel at any time, just like Netflix, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Just download the app from the Play Store or the App Store, or simply visit patreon.com on a web browser. Then head on over to my page and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. All the links are in the description box below. And just a quick money-saving tip for Apple users. If you purchase your Patreon subscription on the desktop site or on Android, then you'll avoid the ridiculous 30% fee that Apple charges for purchases made on the iOS app. So if you're on iPhone or iPad, save yourself some money by buying your subscription on the actual Patreon website or on Android, because it's a lot cheaper. Once you've made that initial purchase, you can then use the Patreon app on your iPhone or iPad thereafter to access and enjoy your content as normal.